Honorable Chairman, Ryan Rampersad, Chairman of CTTRC, is a big boy these days. Our Honorable Leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Biseso. Honorable Speakers, fellow Speakers, MPs, Senators, Councillors, Aldermen. Brothers and sisters, UNC family. UNC family, all you here now? UNC family. Thank you for always showing up for your party. Thank you for coming out. Yesterday at around 7:45 a.m., I wasn't following no Santa around. And don't bother with MP Lee, you know. He is the Prime Minister's neighbor, you know. I live in quite up in the back. You understand? They are neighbors. At about 7:45, and DPL Munir spoke about it. 7:45 a.m., they said the murder rate was, I think it was 513. Today, about midday, it was 516, what Dr. Munilal said earlier. So the only thing going up is Rowley's frequent fire account and the murder rate. So I'm reminded of a quote I saw somewhere. Cannot remember who to credit, but the PNM is satisfied to just look on as dreams killed, ambitions fulfilled, unborn in the womb, straight to the tomb, shaking from shock, death around the clock. Still they insist all of the black boys are gang leaders or members. So it appears that this endless cycle of murders is the motivation for today's front page, and DPL Munilal would have shown you the front page, so I got to show you inside the papers, because I too walked on the papers. Because they're saying that the cops, TTPS, brokered some agreement between rival gang. My UNC family, they say the Chronicle and Narnia. This has nothing to do with Denzel Washington and Spielberg and them. This is in Port of Spain. They are saying peace deal, PEACE, is being brokered because they are trying for gang bosses to stop the bloodletting. Well, I felt this was interesting news that they had this kind of kumbaya moment, because after all, over the last 8 years, we have had about 4,000 murders. And if we knew all them gangman needed was a messenger, we'd have buy 2 pigeons. We have invested billions in guns, billions in spyware. Even the Israeli came down here to spy. They could spy on us. You know who they can't spy on, eh? You see what's going on. They can't spy. They know what's going on in their own backyard, unfortunately. Right? But they were here putting in spyware. Billions. And we are hearing that our TTPS brokering peace deal. So you see, this government and the agents subscribe to all kind of simmy-dimmy, all kind of short-term, would-be, could-be, shoulda, woulda, and plasters. Very superficial plasters. Because it appears that there's no tragedy that is enough to touch the heart of Rowley that will compel him to agree to meet the moment, as he refuses to meet with the leader of the opposition. And today he was bragging. He said literally he'll meet her on the pavement. Right? So he is not taking himself seriously. Neither is he taking this crime scourge seriously. You know why? Do you know why? Because it's young black men and they're expendable. And I'm telling you, I black too, I could talk it. You know, some are afraid to say it. But it's true. They're expendable. So he does not care. So, you know, he's not sitting down to hold serious talks, to really get to the root of this totally unacceptable scourge, to save life, to bring back a sense of security to the wider population. Because as far as he's concerned, any peace of mind is motivated by political expediency. That's good enough for him. He can put 1.3 million lives at risk just to get them fellas to stop shooting each other. Not by a peace, PEACE, a peace, not a job. They want a piece of the pie, not by some education. That is the peace they want. PEACE, a piece of education and training. We have to get to the heart of this issue. We can't afford this superficiality and to continue that today they say, okay, fine. They had a message went to this, from this one to that one, and they agree. All right, you're going to sleep in your bed tonight. What happens tomorrow night? We need to get to the heart of this matter. Mainly young black men dying on the streets. Images shown graphically on our social media. Brains, we have never seen that. Long when I used to go to the movies, there's where you'll see that. When Rambo telling you, they drew first blood. I mean, you want to know what's going on? These things are right there. This is a real human being. This is no make-believe. And Rowley is satisfied to go in his bed and talk about that. All he's doing is bragging that he sit down next to His Excellency Mohammed bin Salman. You see how he was smiling? He's skinning and grinning, the next door real billionaire. He just like rich people. He come back here today to back at the media. He feels stiff as if they Botox him in Saudi Arabia. He has no time. Yeah, I find the man gets so stiff as about the Botox. He knows he's stiff, so he can't smile because he has no time for poor people. Right? All he cares about himself. They sent 2 big plane, he telling you. And the thing was nice. He can't tell you what was nice. He can't tell you what he achieved. He can't tell you where coming. He can't tell you where going. Imagine that. Big men, a whole plane load of people from Trinidad and Tobago, so-called professionals, they went there without one PowerPoint presentation. And all this big Tobagonian telling you, it was nice. In Tobago, we call that a never see come see. It is behavior unbecoming of a prime minister. Over 2 hours, and you can't tell us you're in Saudi Arabia. They did their Vision 2030 after we did ours in 2016. Mohammed bin Salman, His Excellency, is a disruptor. They have money to spend. And as he like Maljo, that dog they have down in tongue, you know, they say, I have money to lend. So they're looking for money to lend, money to borrow, because that's all he's doing. I want money to borrow, or I want you to tell me with the crime. He has no time to sit down and work through this issue that is carrying the life out of all of us. So what peace mean? I am all for peace because we are all paralyzed with fear from home invasion, from the rape of young teenage girls, from the vicious beating of our mothers, mainly young black men between the ages of 14 to 30 years old, who may be seriously antisocial, homeless, who may have dropped out of school, taken to substance abuse or engage in illegal activity. The factors that place these young people at risk in the first place, such as poverty, family dysfunction, and disturbed neighborhoods, are often not factored into any equation. In many instances, they are mainly guilty because you're black, guilty, because you're poor, guilty, and because sometimes, you know, MP Tanku talk about geographic discrimination, but they too face geographic discrimination under the Keith Rowley-led government. So what is urgently needed is a peace PIEC of training and education, a peace PIEC of jobs, a peace of the forex, so that they can run small businesses, an opportunity for the piece of the pie for every citizen who could go as far as their ambition and their ability will take them. Rowley decided from day one, they ain't getting no peace, PIEC, and slam shut the door of opportunity. As soon as he ride and he sit down, to come take a ride from Mason Hall to Whitehall, as far as he's concerned, he was there to make the rich richer. So if what is reported is true, then the PNM in their race to the bottom has sunk to a new low with their grotesquely immoral and totally unworkable plans as it relates to the safety and security of our citizens. PNM will forgive one of their ministers for playing fashion police and dig out taxpayers' money to pay $150,000 for his discretion. One of their own can breach the laws and convention by interrupting a constitutional exercise, a constitutional process at the president's house. They're not vexed for that. They're only upset when poor people get something. I remember how viciously they criticized Column Orange. Column Orange wasn't started by the then Minister Munilal or our then Prime Minister. It was started by Mr. Manning, but what I know for sure, they hate Manning as much as they hate the UNC and Canada. They don't like nothing that makes sense. And I know on a UNC platform, but you know, when you compare Manning to Rowley, he made perfect sense. Column Orange was about working, training the youths in HDC communities that they could work there. Because many times what is happening there, they are shut in before they go to jail. Upper Duncan Street can't go to lower Duncan Street. George Street can't cross no borderline because everybody have their turf. This has been going on. But when they came into that system, you could go anywhere. Because I walk in the road and I'll tell you, no, my name is Jearlean John, but you don't know the middle name is Jearlean Bad John. People, they have to go, you ask them, I'm tongue 5'2", and I'm telling them my middle name is Bad. So they have to go, I ain't interested in this turf thing. So what it did, it bred camaraderie, and they got hope. And who did that? Who approved that? Kamla Prasad Bisesa and Udal Munilal. They expanded that program, and the PNM fought it down. The shared joy of those trainees, when they put on the coverall, you ask them. They had something to do. You think any one of them voted for Kamla Prasad Bisesa? No. It was because she knew what was needed in terms of the fight against crime. Jobs and training are mitigating factor. That is what you have to do about crime. So the program engaged young people from across the HTC network of communities. HTC Harp Place working to clean up Park Place. Duncan Street to clean up Duncan. George Street and so on. So they were there doing a good job. But as Dr. Munilal said, PNMA good at nothing else but spreading lies and propaganda and nastiness. You know, and we want to congratulate him for that excellent program at Debe Junction, the first, well, in this series of pavement report, and we are really looking forward to the one on Thursday. So they took away laptop, enabled and this was sadly supported by people who should know better. And what happened? We knew COVID came and many children dropped out. 151 primary school pupils dropped out of school, and 2,663 students dropped out of secondary school. Where do you think they went? Who you think was waiting for them? Who you think was waiting for these children? They went straight, that was a pipeline to the gangs. They opened the campus. Now I see after much pleading and begging from Dr. Munila and our Prime Minister and our political leader, they know about, they say they shame them into opening in the Ramai school, the Ramai Trace Hindu school. Shame them. So because education and training are crime mitigation strategies. When our political leader, then Prime Minister, called me and instructed that we must hand over those houses that people have been living in for over 30 years. Houses on George Street, right at the way they would have gotten an asset. You know it is when you own a house, you have responsibility. You can't mind your neighbor business because you have to clean your house, you have to paint your house, you have something to be proud. Our then Prime Minister told me, then when I said, but madam, you're giving away Port of Spain. She said, no, people need a stake in their country. Having a stake in your country is a crime mitigation strategy. That is what it is. It ain't no pie in the sky. You have to do to get rid of this scourge. We have to do the work, and we have to come up with creative ideas. In the same way, Kamla Prasad with power, the same way she did. When you have power, you have to use it to help the vulnerable. A lot of people don't need a handout, they just need a hand up. And they will move from there. They will move from there. So this lazy, stale and shallow, bold-faced government, nothing to spark interest. I know we see that the seams are falling apart. Yet in the midst of all of that, he jetted off and showing off that he jetted off. But you know what I realized? Nobody missed them. Everybody glad that they're gone. That was the upside. And the acting appointments in their absence were like shifting the chairs on the deck of the Titanic, because we know that ship going down. That ship has nowhere to go but down. So yesterday I saw one of their supporters, maybe former, Mr. Bernard Mitchell, a former CEO of NP. He said he was of the view that most underperforming state enterprises in Trinidad and Tobago are currently in their feel the need to imagine that one of their own saying that they are appointing illiterates to these very important positions. And that is why today we know HDC can't produce nothing. Right? They got it whole, giving out keys, 100 keys a week. That Dr. Munilal, come in, every week he's showing up. I'll take you there, you love it. Lean on me. We gave the National Security Forces 800 keys. We had a whole ceremony for people who were poor, who were disabled, a whole ceremony for people who were blind. And that is what we did over and over and over. We gave out over 8,000 keys. HDC used to open at 6 in the morning because I will tell them nobody must pass the doors and say they're going to work and come back to pay. We want them to pay now. We are open on a Saturday and a Sunday because we said people who were allocated, they were approved for allocation, and they live in Princestown or Moruga or Toko. We don't want them in that traffic during the week. We don't want them to leave work. The public servants were there on a Saturday and Sunday to serve the people. When you have good leadership, people work. What did they do? What did they do? They said the organization cannot produce. So they have an organization, one that can't produce, and they split it into four. Only PNM could do that. And then they're telling you this organization split in four is more efficient. But it's 4 times more the inefficiency. It's 4 times more the cost. And it's 4 times by nothing is what? Nothing is zero. They have nothing. They can produce nothing. Because they're doing is fighting each other. And they're building one house. As a matter of fact, Dr. Munila will tell you, instead of house staying up, it's falling down. So we are in a mess. So Bernard Mitchell was right when he said these people are downright inept and outright illiterates on these boards. You see, an effective HCC is a beacon of hope in the very bleak housing landscape. For the poor, victims of domestic abuse, members of the security forces, emergency cases, single mothers. I'm telling you, even when Mr. Warner was the Minister of National Security, you know he liked to say, he will tell us he will schedule a meeting for 4:30 a.m. You ask Jack Warner, at 4:30 a.m., I in the office, not me alone. The head of legal, the head of construction, the head of everything inside there. And when I'm finished, the next one who is the next guest man, you have to give him a full report to Dr. Munilal. So by 6, we are giving him a full report of what transpired with the Minister of National Security. That is how we roll, UNC. Don't let nobody tell you you can't run country. It's you to run the country. Don't let it fool you and make you feel down and depressed and question yourself. Who can run the country but you? When we could have taken a hospital, it wasn't ready, it wasn't planned, you know, from designs. And when we designed it and we're ready to go, you know, it's only when you're in government, everybody does not want something. The construction sector, they say the earthquake on some kind of, the hospital on some kind of earthquake zone, the seismic authority. We didn't do like the PNM and cost them. We are respectful people because we know what we're doing. What did we do? We went into a consultation with them. Who went? The team was led by Dr. Munila as the consultant. He led the consulting team with UDCOT. Then you had the client. Then Minister Khan. Then you had Jearlean John. Oh God, look at that team. And all the whole team. Here the team now, boy. You understand? We went in there and we answered every question. And you know what happened? We built that hospital from foundation to finish in 24 months. So when they came in the hospital, was ready. They are building something called a central block. They started it in 2019. They said 24, 30 months. Now, me are good in maths. I'm an accountant. Me are so good in maths. You know. But to me, it was supposed to be finished in 22. It is finished in 21, 22. It is this 20, well, I mean, where it is? 23 almost done. It is going to finish in 24. They tell you it's 25. It will finish. European vertigo. I wish him well. You know. 3 years overdue. 3 years delayed. And you know what he's telling us? Because only PNM could do this propaganda. It's within budget and on time. What piece of infrastructure you know? 3 years late, on time and within budget. Only in PNM cuckoo mind. Something is wrong with them. Only in their mind. 3 years late, but you come in and tell you every time, it's on time and within budget. It's not on time. And it's way out of budget. There's a cost of money. And when they had to terminate the first contractor, they got to pay for loss of profit, extension of time. They have to pay this man for delays. So the UNC, again, I reiterate, is the best party to run this country. I tell you another anecdote. I remember I was sitting in my office, but the then Prime Minister did not know I was sitting in my office. And I got a call on Christmas Day. Christmas Day. And I said, well, madam, I'll look into it. I am now trying to call the head of allocation, but not call her, text her, because I shame to call this woman on Christmas Day. In 10 minutes, the then Prime Minister called me back. So hear me now. Madam, I'm in my office. Things should have been impressed. She said, I'm waiting on the response, please. She did not. She wasn't concerned about me. She didn't pat me and give me brownie points and say Christmas Day in your office. She said, I need the answer for this woman. You think this was any big shot woman? No, it was an ordinary citizen. And that is how the UNC conduct themselves. You need a leader who will work. You need a leader who will feel for people. There is no way on God's green earth Kamla Prasad, Mr. Secretary Prime Minister, and see young people, brains spilt on the pavement, and she would not have been there crying with those parents and doing something about it. Today, the Prime Minister was happy to say I am not going to meet with the leader of the opposition. She could meet with me whenever she wants to meet with me. So we have many achievements to be proud of. Many achievements. We built 8 police stations, and anyone that we started them. Today I hear you talking about you finished the Children's Hospital. That is a lie. I can't even trust it up. That hospital was complete, so it's a lie. We started the one in Arima and the one in Point Fortin. You believe if we had not started that block? So UNC, you could run government. You are good at that. You are hustlers. You are aspirational, and you work very, very hard. Right? I remembered when we did that central block, that bed tower in San Fernando, where the day it opened, on time and within budget. What happened? I push in a man, you know, that is this too. Because if I push him, Dr. Mullah, I'll go push him, you know. So I grabbed the wheelchair first, you know. The man said, I feel as if I'm in a 5-star hotel. That is how we put on infrastructure. We build to last, UNC. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. So, UNC is not a single story. The UNC is not monolithic. We believe in a strong democracy. We believe in hard work. We believe in family. We believe in community. We believe every citizen should go as far as their ambition and their ability will take them. UNC, something else is happening. I don't know if, like me, you understand. I mean, Dr. Lee has been in big shot place and so on. But I've been all over Port of Spain buying middle food, and people are telling me to a man, we have to win the next election. Are they telling you that? They say we have to win the next election. And I will tell them, with God's help and your vote, we will win the next election. And this walk, UNC, is not for the faint-hearted. I thank you for your loyalty, your faith, and steadfastness. Because we didn't come this far, only to come this far. So all of those who are doubting us, we are going to win the next election. UNC, stay strong. Stay strong. Thank you so much.